In this problem, we need to sketch the graph of a cubic function in this form y equals ax cubed. So the only extra thing we've got going on here other than the basic function is that we've got some number multiplied by the x cubed. Basically this function, just the plain old mother function here, y equals x cubed, is this funny looking kind of squished sort of S shape. It's got an arm that gets closer and closer, and then it flattens out, and then it's got an arm that goes further on that way. So that's your basic cubic function, or a rough approximation of it. What we want to do when we sketch a graph of it is make sure we put this, well, I don't know if you'd call that a vertex. It's an inflection point where it sort of flattens out there. In the basic function, this happens at 0, 0. Um, in a function where there's just a number multiplied by x cubed, it also happens at 0, 0. So let's make a little chart here of some values. So if we put in 0 for x, you can see we'll get out 0 for y here because 0 cubed is 0 times 2/3 is 0. So that's that inflection point. Then we should pick a couple of values over here and a couple of values over here. So some values where x is positive, some values where x is negative, and probably we should just keep the numbers as simple as we can. So let's choose 1 and -1 first, and then maybe 2 and -2. If you choose bigger numbers for x, the y values get big really fast because we're cubing here, so you have to be careful about that. In fact, these last 2 points may go off our graph. We'll just have to approximate. But let's find what 1 is. This should be pretty easy. 1 cubed is just 1. So y here is going to be 3 halves. And -1 cubed is -1. So this is going to be -3 halves. So you kind of get a mirror image going on here. So let's just plot those two, 1 and 3 halves. So there. And -1 and -3 halves is there. All right, and let's see what we get for 2. 2 cubed is 8, and times 3 halves, so divided by 2 multiplied by, it's going to be 12. And similarly, a -2 is going to be a -8 times 3 halves is going to be a -12. So that does go off our graph here, but we can approximate here. So 2 and 12 would be about here, and -2 and 12 would be about here. So once we've got those drawn in, those points, we can just roughly sketch our graph, and it's okay if it's not perfect. Just flatten it out there near that inflection point, and then have it steam on off towards infinity there. So that is a rough sketch of this cubic function in the form of y equals ax cubed.